Oh, what's that ding? It's a 40-second timer. Please begin in globe hands. Float your arms forward, touch the tips of your fingers together. Every Bowspring posture today is going to be 40 seconds. So just long enough that you hold to build strength, but not so long that you hold and you burn out. Lift your chin and sit tall. Push your elbows out to the sides. Broaden your rib cage. Breathe deeply. First position, all fours. Remove any prop off to the side. Separate your hands as wide as your shoulders. Position your shoulders over your wrists and your hips over your knees. Actively push your hands down so your rib cage lifts up high. And at the same time, allow your belly to drop down. Push your knees energetically out to the sides, even though they stay fixed and firm to the floor. Push them out until you feel your glutes get activated and strong. For this next position, bear pose, tuck your toes under and lift your knees to hover away from the floor. Keep the push of your hands down so your rib cage remains light. Lift your chin to look forward. If you really want to look towards your six-pack and see the strength that you're cultivating and building, go for it. There's nothing wrong with that. A little narcissism. We could all use a little narcissism every now and then. Push the knees out to the sides. Now the knees aren't fixed on the floor, so it's harder to get the action of just pushing them out and feeling the strength go all the way up into your sit bones. Last breath in. And on an exhale, drop your knees, point your toes, sit towards your right heel, and lift your left leg out to the side for open leg position. Stage 1, stay here. Stage 2, rise onto fingertips. And then stage 3, cup the back of your head, pause and hold. This becomes a challenging balancing position. Push your hand down, lift your rib cage up. Keep your chin lifted so that your throat stays open. Breathe deeply and hold strong. We're going straight into the second side. Lower your hand, lower your knee and foot. Lean to the left, lift your right leg out to the side. Pull the knee forward, move your hips back. Rise onto your right fingertips. Stay solid, stay strong and firm. Next stage, cup the back of your head, hug your elbow in, push the knee forward. Breathe deeply. One more breath in. And then lower your hand, lower your knee, tuck your toes under, and send your hips up and back for crouching cat position. So instead of pushing all the way towards downward facing dog, stay partway forward so that your head is in line with your hands. Tilt your sit bones high into the air with your knees bent. Actively push your hands down, lift your rib cage up, and then think of pushing your hands away from each other like you're splitting your mat down the lengthwise of the mat so that you have two mats that are very thin. You can also use your legs to do the same action. Then lower your knees down, back to the open leg position, left leg out to the side. I like to go onto a fist for this one, and then lower your left knee to touch your right knee, and reopen your leg. And that's all it is, just open and close. You're welcome to coordinate it with your breath. When you inhale, open, exhale, close, or inhale, open, close, exhale, open, close. You can do double time. You can somehow figure out triple or quadruple time. Please go for it. Okay, then lower your hand and switch to the other side. Rise onto fingertips, lift your right leg out, and then lower your knee down and reopen your leg. Again, you can go to a fist, just a more solid position. You can weight bear a little more that way. And then just open, close, close, open, close. And it seems pretty mundane to begin with, but after a while, the glutes catch on fire. Okay, and then knee down, hand down, tuck your toes under, and lift up crouching cat. In crouching cat, move your right foot a little closer towards the middle of your mat, and then lift your left leg out to the side. You're welcome to go onto fingertips. I know some folks who will even lift the hand and put it to the knee. I sometimes like to just keep the hand down. Just basic open leg position. You can add a bicycle pedal. Think of yourself on one of the higher gears going up a hill, so it's super slow. It's very energetic, takes a lot of work to push and power your way up. And then put your left foot where your right foot is, lift your right leg out to the side. And then again, if you like going to fingertips or making it more challenging, go for it. If you're someone who always makes it harder, my question to you is, why are you making things harder in your life? Life's hard enough as it is. Again, adding the bicycle pedal. We're going nowhere fast, and we're gonna take our time. That 40 seconds is a long time. Lower your knees, and then point your toes, but with your toes pointed, pull the toes towards your knees, so you lift the front of your ankle up away from the floor. Feels like you're grabbing the mat. And then rise to fingertips so that you can put as much weight in your legs as possible to rise up, and then cup the back of your head. And then arc and lean back into a little bit of a back bend. And sit your hips back. And again, inhale, lift, and lean back. We'll do that one more time. Sitting back, and then lifting up. Return to neutral, and then add a side body stretch. Arc over towards the left. And one of the nice things about Bowspring is there isn't a finished form, a perfect pose. So you're welcome to just tick-tock in and out of the pose a little bit. You could also use your left hand to hold the outside of your right thigh. Add an extra twist to your side body. One of my favorites is just holding the outside elbow. So left hand holds outside of right elbow, arc to the left, push the elbow up into the resistance of your hand, and then spin and twist up. Twist. And come all the way back up, and switch to the other side. Arc over to the right, tilt, then return to center, and then just tick-tock in and out of the pose. The benefit of doing this in a kneeling position is it takes some of the twist that you might do or side bend you might do with your legs. Option to hold on to the outside of your thigh. Use that as leverage to twist your torso towards left, or hold the outside of the elbow. Okay, and then arms forward. Step your right foot forward into a modified low lunge, but bring your heel directly in front of your knee. Reach your arms forward and a little to the left, and then move the hips back as you push your hands forward. Just a modified, shorter low lunge position, almost like a hybrid of thread the needle where you cross your ankle over your knee, but in lunge form. Getting ready for one of my favorite poses of all time. One of the reasons I really love Bowspring right off the bat, and that's one shin balance. So rise up, use your arms to help counter here. Lift your front heel, and then lift your front foot. So balancing only on your left foot and the left shin, really more the top of the shin bone. And how many years of practice of yoga did I do and never once balance on one shin? And then boom, one shin balance comes around. And what an exciting opportunity to learn and grow, to try to balance something totally different. Bring your leg back and go into that lunge again. Just foot directly touches knee, and then lean a little to the right to stretch your arms forward, and then push the hands forward as you move your hips back. This one feels fantastic for me. Do your best to try to get an arch in your low back. I'm not quite as flexible as some of you, so it's just an attempt to get an arch in the low back. It's actually very difficult for me to get that exact shape, but I'm feeling like I'm moving in that direction. The more I push the hands forward and wide apart and move the hips back and apart, and then rise up. No time to rest and hang out. Lift your front heel, lift your front foot, one shin balance. At this point in all of my time teaching, I've only been beaten twice when we've held contests for who can hold this position the longest. That's you, Ryan and Allison. And oftentimes we get up to about the 3 to 4 minute mark balancing. Usually the people who make it 3 to 4 minutes on one side choose not to participate in the second side. It gets quite intense. This is just 40 seconds. And then bring your leg back, all fours position. And then instead of cat-cow, where you round and arch your back, we call this one just snake eel, where you just go side to side, slithering like you're a snake or an eel. Same, but different. And there are such things as sea snakes in Australia. They're very venomous, very scary. I think seeing a shark would be scary, but then like imagine a snake swimming at you. That's very scary. Okay, back to all fours. Sit towards your right heel, lift your left leg out to the side as you did before. This time you can stay on fingertips and just kick your left leg straighter to the side. Some may hold onto the big toe or hold the back of your thigh. Again, I often will just do a more base position. There's nothing wrong with sticking to the basics, and let go of the goal being that the leg's straight, because I can get the leg straight and round my spine. Instead, move the hips back, arch the low back knee forward, and push your leg straighter. I get a lot more out of the pose with a bent knee with good form in my low back. Bend your knee and switch sides. Rise onto your right fingertips, lift your left leg out, sit your hips back, and then push your leg straighter. I may have limited myself with the wall here. It is an advantage to have a wall off to the side. You could even use that to push against, take some of the balance out, and gives you the opportunity to push against a resistance, which can be quite nice and enjoyable. The next one is going to be 2 times for 40 seconds. So knee down, tuck your toes, lift your knees, and then lift your left foot, cross your ankle over your knee for falcon pose. So it's the pigeon version of Bowspring. Move your hips back and then lower down onto your elbows. So 2 times 40 is 80. 80 seconds is 1 minute and 20 seconds. Yeah, getting pretty good at math. Actively push down with your elbows, lift your rib cage up, push your knees out to the side, and think of someone pulling your hips back as you move your rib cage forward. One of my favorite variations of this is adding the twist. Use your left hand off your mat to just help with the leverage of the initial twist. Put your right elbow to the edge of your mat, make a fist, and then twist using your left hand. Once you feel solid, place your left hand over your right fist to twist to the side. This one I have to be careful of going too far into the pose for the sake of the drool. Trying to keep all of my water droplets to myself these days. And then nothing really fancy, just switch to the second side. So move back, crouching cat, and then cross right over left. You can even pause here upright, pull your belly forward, move your hips back, and then lower down onto the elbows. For some folks, this is a big stretch for the hips. On this side, for me, it's a big stretch. On the other side, it's a little stretch. Some of you may not get the stretch. And that's a lesson to learn in your yoga practice, is that it's not always about stretching in every pose. You wouldn't think that you're supposed to feel a stretch in plank. You're building strength. Right hand off the mat, left elbow to the edge, twist to the right. Once you feel you're steady and secure, wrap your right hand over your left fist. Twisting using your breath. Inhale, get long. And exhale, try to twist further to the right. Keep your hips fixed. Push your knees out to the sides. And then to come out, lower your right hand. Put weight into the hand. Rise up onto the left. And then push back to crouching cat. Stay here in crouching cat for a few cycles of breath. If you're someone who loves to hop, you're welcome to hop a few times on the spot. Just hopping up and down. Maybe getting to a point where you can hop higher. I'm just going to show how the wall beside you, you could hop up and then use the wall like that to hold the position and then move away from the wall. Really useful tool. Come back to a kneeling position now. And then step your right foot forward. Returning to the one shin balance, except this time lift your foot and put your foot to your inner thigh. So this is the baby version of tree. We call it shrub pose, because you're just on one shin. This pose is difficult enough with the arms wide and moving. Hardest is hands together in front of you. And I do know a few of my students who can put hands to the top of the head, and they find that a little bit easier. Low lunge, twisted thigh stretch. So step your foot forward, left hand down, lift your right foot, reach back with your right hand. Grab your foot, pull your heel in and twist to the right. If you want to drop down onto your elbow, you're welcome to do that. Halfway through the pose now, move your left shoulder back, lift your chin, and breathe deep. Going back to the one shin balance in a moment. This one is Sir Elton's favorite pose in Bowspring, and that's Tiny Dancer. So release your foot, have your toes pointed, but pull your toes forward so you grip onto the mat. Then lift your right foot. Might be hard with the camera to see on this side, but I'll reach back, grab the foot like dancer's pose, and then counterbalance with the left arm forward in front. You could always switch hands too and do reverse Tiny Dancer. Doesn't matter. It's not like anyone's watching you and getting upset at you for doing something different. Kick your foot back, tilt forward, hold strong. Not easy to do. No rest on these 40 seconds. Lower your right shin, step your left foot forward, then lift your foot, going for shrub pose. You might have to, oh, I lost, I'm out. Lift your foot and place it to your inner thigh. Pause and hold. If it's becoming overwhelmingly easy for you in this position, just close your eyes, and that will add an extraordinary amount of difficulty. It's hard enough to close your eyes in regular tree, let alone shrub position. Thank goodness the low lunge twisted thigh stretch is next, so step your left foot forward, right hand down. You could always even use a block for that, and then lift your back foot. Grab the foot behind you, twist to the left, lift your chin so your throat is open. Sink your hips lower. And breathing deeply, enjoying the break before Tiny Dancer. So release your foot, lower the foot down, move your hips back, counterbalance, lift your left foot, swing it behind you, grab your foot, and then reach your arm forward, kick your foot back. It's postures like this where we really get to truly measure the progress on our path physically, how much we improve, because I know even master yoga practitioners have never tried this before, and the first time they do, it's major wobbles. It's incredibly difficult. Don't think I've seen anyone hold their foot over their head like that, but maybe one day. And then back to crouching cat position, not holding too long, just pivot your feet and knees to the left. For twisted cat, tilt your right ear to your right shoulder, rise onto your fingertips, move your hips back, lift the left side rib cage, actively push your hand forward. You want to lift your arm and pulse a little bit, add that. It can be nice to just keep the hand down as something to push out against to get that extra side body stretch. Side body stretch. And then rise up and switch. Turn your feet to the right. Rise onto your right fingertips. And you can pulse and move your body a little bit. Tilt your ear to your shoulder. Option, of course, to lift the arm as you move, or just keep the hand down. Having the feet in one line, hugging the knees in and pushing your hips back. And then back to center. Lower your knees, all fours. Tuck your toes, lift your knees to hover, and turn your knees to the left for seated side twist. Just rise onto your left fingertips and turn your chest towards the front of your mat. So knees go to the left, chest turns to the right. This is a left to right twist position. And then switch sides. Turn your knees to the right. Bring your left hip down, rise onto your right fingertips, and twist from right to left. Lifting your chin. And starting to wind things down from here. So a nice, quick, short burst of energy. Nothing super fancy, no standing poses. Staying primarily on the hands and knees. And now just transitioning onto the back. So reach your left arm long, roll onto your back, just wiggle your way to the center of your mat again. Extend your right leg up, hold the back of your thigh. Do your best to root your thigh bone down into your hip socket, unless you're Australian, where that word means something different. Totally legitimate word in Canada and many other countries in the world. By keeping the low back lifted though, this is a massive stretch for my hamstring. By rooting the thigh bone down and pushing the leg straighter, I'm not shaking my leg for dramatic effect. That is the intensity of the stretch. And then switch legs. Left knee in, hold the back of the thigh, pull the thigh bone down, push your leg straighter. Okay, and then final pose before Shavasana or assimilation, just cup your kneecaps with the palms of your hands. Straighten your arms. Let your thighs be heavy as they drop down into your hip sockets. Allow your low back to lift slightly away from the floor. And one by one, slide your legs long. And we'll be in this pose for about 3 minutes. So just exploring different versions with each ding of the bell. So for the first one, just wrap your arms around yourself for a bear hug, one that offers a broadening through your upper back. From the act of self-embrace, now bring your arms alongside you, but first begin with your palms face down. Hold on to your own energy and stay grounded and fixed. And then turn your palms face up for this last 40 seconds and focus on your breath. Just a deep breath in and a deep breath out. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. Namaste.